Santosh Mehrotra, who is a visiting professor at the University of Bath in the UK, and he joins us now from the Indian capital, New Delhi. Welcome to the programme. So just for our international viewers, help us understand how significant India's agrarian economy is, because we've been speaking about this topic for a very long time. And I saw one statistic saying that arable and agricultural industry comprises of half the labour market there.
It's 45% as of now of the total labour market, but it contributes only 15% to GDP, which suggests there are far too many people in agriculture, who need to be obviously pulled out of agriculture. But unfortunately, government policies have been such that in the last 3 years of COVID in particular, some 60 million people have been added to agriculture. But that's just the overall background. You see, naturally, if productivity is low, incomes are not very high and not rising for the last 7 or 8 years, despite the fact that the government had committed in 2015 to actually doubling farmers' income. Far from doubling farmers' income, they've actually stagnated. Now, some half of the total agricultural produce is accounted for by crops, 23 crops in particular, and the remainder is accounted by fisheries, poultry, animal husbandry, etc. So it's about this whole discussion and agitation is about the crops receiving a minimum support price. So government would not allow market prices to drop, and if they were dropping, then the government would actually buy some of the produce. It wouldn't involve very much of a fiscal cost for the government, and this was the farmers' demand 2 years ago as well. So actually, what has happened over the last 2 years, that not much has happened.
And Santosh, you say it wouldn't demand much of a fiscal cost for the government. What exactly does that mean?
Let me explain. It's actually fairly straightforward, because all that the farmers are asking for is the following: that in the situation where open market prices drop below the legally announced minimum support price announced by the government, then and only then will the government need to buy up a minimum amount in order to stabilize the market. This is the objective of the government holding stocks. Government has held stocks of grains in respect of wheat and rice for some 40 or 45 years in this country, and that's why India is not a food deficit country, it's a food exporting country. Bottom line, because farmers' income are not growing, it's bad for the economy. If farmers' income were growing, it would actually generate demand for non-farm goods. But problem is, the minimum support price applies only to 3 crops, not to 23 crops. That's what the farmers want, and they want a legal guarantee of that. And actually, it's possible for the government to deliver this. But for 23 days now, the farmers have been stopped well away, at the border of an adjacent state in the north of Delhi, which is called Haryana. These farmers are coming from Punjab now. So the farmers have decided we're going to go to Delhi in any case. So they're going to take a roundabout route to come to Delhi. Now, government has actually prevented them from even entering the state of Haryana, let alone. So this continuing, it's very unfortunate. Government is playing for time because national elections are due in just 2 months' time.
Okay, you said the government is playing for time. And just going back to the farmers' demands, is it a question of affordability also by the government, or just no political will?
No political will, because affordability is the least of the issues in some ways. As I indicated to you, there is no expectation by the farmers that the government will buy the entire crop, 23 crops. That's not the. They're only saying, give us a legal guarantee and give it to us for 23 crops. There's no legal guarantee even for the 2 or 3 crops that for which there is a minimum support price. And it's perfectly feasible, because you see, one good thing that will come out of a minimum support price for other crops is that Punjabi farmers who are unnecessarily they're growing rice, which is a very water-intensive crop in water-scarce Punjab, they will be able to move out to other products, other crops, which would be a very good thing for the ecology. It would be good thing for the country's economy because other produce needs to be produced. India is importer of oil seeds for vegetable oil. India is a importer also of pulses. You please remember, in many people are vegetarian. Pulses or lentils are our main source of cheap, relatively cheap protein, and protein energy malnutrition is relatively low. So there are many externalities, as we economists call them, are many side benefits, spillover effects of a minimum support price, which is a legal guarantee. And unfortunately, the government has been stalling, hoping that they have time for another 2 months in the run up to the government election,
Santosh,
national election.
thank you so much for explaining it so well and in such detail. Santosh Mehrotra, professor at the University of Bath in the UK, speaking to us there from New Delhi. Thank you, really appreciate it.